Hello, hello. So, Karen, since you haven't done this before, I'll wait just a few minutes just to see if anybody is going to join from our LinkedIn or our Facebook.
Okay.
And then I'm sure you have so much valuable input. So, we'll also put this on YouTube if anyone is at work or doctor's appointment or anything like that. So, we'll give it just a few minutes. Kill time. How's California weather right now?
Well, today it's going to be 100 degrees.
Ooh.
Yesterday it was 106, so it
Oh
feels cooler today.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Plus it
moved
depends.
back. Sorry?
Oh, I was going to say, just state you are.
Oof. Oh my gosh, that's too
You're
hot. Do
freezing
you
up,
like the
Casey.
heat? Oh no. Okay. Maybe it's me. Looks like some connectivity issues. We'll give it just another minute or two to see if Karen can join back, and if not, we can just kind of start. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, Karen is, I think, having some tech issues, so we will just wait for her. But I will get started a little bit and just kind of talk about what we're going to be talking about. Worst case scenario, we can record this and still send it out in the newsletter or put it on YouTube. But Karen is really an interesting person. She's the owner of Kiss Me Med Spa in California. She just said that it's 100 degrees in California and it was 107 yesterday. So maybe her internet is having a heat stroke like the rest of us. So she's going to help me talk about how to think like a business owner and not just a nurse with an idea. It's probably our most frequently asked question at the NNBA. I get emails like this all the time, and I send them to Nina because she's a pro at this. But how do I know when it's time to make the switch? I'm scared I'm not going to make enough money. I'm scared it's not the right time. What sets me apart? So hopefully Karen can get back on and she can help us with that. But I'll talk about a little bit more of what's going on with NNBA in the meantime. So, some really exciting things we have announced that the NNBA 2026 is going to be in Scottsdale next year. Speaking of hot weather, I'm so excited about that. It's definitely going to be a different vibe. It's going to be at a resort that we're really excited about. So, make sure you bring your bathing suit. Um, we are going to announce the pricing and the early bird information pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that. We're also going to send out different sponsorship and exhibitor options. I know a lot of people have asked about that, so we are very excited to get a move on with that. Some other things that are going on, we are going to be selling the t-shirts that we have left over from the conference at a discounted rate, so keep an eye on our store because we're going to be having those and we'll ship them to you. I'll also send out an email when it's official. If there's any recommendations for the conference or anything that you guys need or need help with, please let us know. We love the feedback, and also join our NNBA community. We are so excited to grow and kind of increase engagement and all that good stuff. So, Karen has not joined back yet. I think she's having some internet problems, perhaps. But I would love to still dive in and maybe go over a couple of these things. Some of the questions that I had for her, I would love for people to just, you know, chime in and give me their own recommendations. We can always try to share this and make it as meaningful as possible for anyone that may be watching. Let's see here. So some of the things that we get asked a lot are, when is it time, or how do I know it's time? How can I transition from bedside to owning my own business? So that's something that Karen's going to go over with us. We might have to reschedule this a little bit because I'm not seeing her added and I don't have a guest. So when she comes back, we are going to cover mindset shifts, strategies, systems, balancing your boundaries, and encouragement for anyone that feels hesitant. We're going to have some takeaways from her. She also is going to talk a little bit about what she's doing, how she's become one of the top 250 med spas in America. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to have her on here. We're going to do a brief intermission and I'm going to try to get this figured out. So give us just a minute. I'll turn on some. There she is.
Yes, here we are
Yay,
again.
there you are. I was like, okay, we might have to do a brief intermission here because, well, I did a little bit of an introduction for you, but I was trying to see if you were joining. So we've got Karen Tesi. She's the owner of Kiss Me Med Spa in California. Like I said, she is one of the, she has made Kiss Me one of the top 250 med spas in America, which is so amazing. And I can't wait to talk more about her journey to becoming a business owner and any advice that she would have for anyone that's, where she was at one point as well. Karen, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, well, I'm Karen Tesi, known as Beauty Nurse Karen. We opened Kiss Me Med Spa back in 2013, and we started very small and moved up to a little larger location, and now we are in, hopefully, our largest one that we're going to go to. It's been quite a journey over the last few years, and here we are today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I think this is like super, super beneficial because, like I had mentioned, these are some of the most commonly asked questions at the NNBA.
Mhm.
So I kind of just want to learn a little bit more about like your journey in nursing. Can you tell me a little bit more about like where you started? What,
Yes.
did you always think you wanted to do med spa? Did you start med surge, or tell me just a little bit about you
Okay.
and your nursing journey?
Okay. Okay, so actually, nursing was my mother's idea. I was always interested in cosmetics and skincare and makeup, beauty care, all of these things. And, as I look back on that today, I see how I was able to blend both what my mother wanted me to do and what I wanted to do together to where we are today. But I did start out after I graduated from nursing school, I worked in telemetry. which
Oh,
is
okay.
a medical floor where they wear heart monitors. Most of our patients were there for chest pain. And then over time, we added the step down unit into our department. So we were taking care of ventilator patients, arterial line patients, people that were getting ready to go to open hearts, things like that. So I did that for about 9 years.
Okay, okay, and that's amazing. What made you feel like, "Okay, I'm done with this. This isn't really, like, serving me," or, "I feel like I have more to offer," or something I enjoy more? When did you make that switch
Okay.
after 9 years?
Well, the truth of the matter is, I found working in that environment extremely stressful. Okay. And I'm sure there's other listeners on here or who will be listening in the future who feel the very same way.
Mhm.
And I guess I was just internalizing all of that stress, and I started having health problems. I ended up
Mm,
having Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disorder that involves the thyroid. And my doctors at the time told me, this is brought on by stress. You have to find another line of work. And
mm.
so prior to going to nursing school, I was a cosmetologist. So I said, well, I know how to do hair. I'll go back to doing hair. So I did that for about 12 years, and I wasn't doing any nursing at all. And then one day I went for my first Botox injection. Ah, it was all over.
Yeah.
After that
I
Botox
know.
kicked in, I loved it. And I started wondering, gee, I wonder if nurses can do this. Now, this was quite a long time ago, okay?
Mhm.
And I did some research and I learned that if you were trained and certified, and if you could get a doctor to hire you, you actually could do Botox injections. So I went to my training, sold my beauty salon, came back to town, and sent out what was called a fax blast. That's what we had at that time. And I got a job offer from two different doctors in my local area, and I went with a cosmetic surgeon because I felt that I could learn the most from her. And I worked for her for another 9 years. And that's how
Wow,
I got
and you
into
just
it. Yeah.
oh my gosh, so you just have a knack for beauty to begin with, doing all the hair and then
Yes.
the
Yes.
cosmetic
Yes.
surgery. That's so
Skincare,
awesome.
cosmetics. I used to sell when I was in junior high. I sold Avon. Some of your listeners
Okay.
might know what that
Yeah,
was. We had a
Avon
lot
was.
of I sold Avon, I sold Arbonne. Always have liked the beauty industry. So fortunately for me, I was one of those people who could take two things that I knew how to do and blend them together into a very satisfying career for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, when did you feel like it sounds like you really enjoyed working for the cosmetic surgeon, so when did it make you feel like, "Okay, this is great, I like this, but I'm not satisfied with this, I want to do this?"
Well, actually, it was my husband's idea.
You've got some
You know,
great people around you, your mom, your husband.
I know, I know all these people that speak into our lives, right?
Yes.
So, he just basically came downstairs one day and said to me, I ran some numbers. If you did this yourself, it might be a really good idea. And I said, really? Because I actually never even thought about having my own cosmetic injectable business or med spa. I was fairly happy in the position that I had. And so we talked about it. And I talked to a doctor friend of mine and I said, hey, do you want to go into business with me? And he didn't even ask a question. He says, sure, let's do it. so
Oh my
that's,
gosh, that's so
yeah. And so
great.
that's how we got started. And he is still my partner today. We're going on 14 years now.
Wow, that is so
Mhm.
amazing. So
Yeah.
so I know you just explained how your nursing background helped a lot with your, business, but what kind of mindset changes did you have to make? Because 'Cause you're saying I was happy in the career I had, I wasn't sure
Yeah.
about it. So was there anything that you felt like you had to talk yourself out of? Like, "This is fine, I'm happy here, I don't need to do that, that'll be too much work." Like, what was your biggest mindset shift?
Okay. That is a really good question. And I can
Mhm.
tell you the first thing that comes to my mind to answer that is I had to really, really put on my big girl panties because I was, ready to jump into an arena where I was competing right along with plastic surgeons, dermatologists, and the biggest thing that I had to deal with were my own insecurities of what makes me think I can do this. That took quite a while to actually examine and to deal with, and I didn't have a lot of confidence in starting a medical practice like that because I had never done it. It was brand new
Right.
to me. I'd always been an employee in a medical arena, and getting over that what we call the terror barrier.
Yes.
It's a really big step. It's a really big step, and it did take some time. In fact, when we first opened, I was even afraid to market and advertise. And it's like, how can you open a business and want to hide? So I
Yeah.
definitely had a lot of work inside my psyche that I had to do.
Yeah. I love that, the terror barrier. That's really good because that is something we hear all the time as well as I'm scared or I've never done anything like this, but I feel called to do something bigger or I see this huge issue and I know I can help with it, but
Right.
I'm scared to do it. So I think that's really, really great. Just like the inner work, and the confidence. That's always huge. That's always what everyone says is I was insecure. I'm not confident in
Yes.
myself. Who am
Right.
I?
Right.
Feeling like a fraud, imposter syndrome.
Totally.
So
Well, I was actually going to bring that up. In fact, it wasn't until recently that I even came across the term imposter syndrome. And I thought, oh my God, I had it. I had it for the longest time. And so I think, as they always say, knowledge is power. And
mhm.
once you can wrap your head around what it is that you need to deal with, then, if you have the courage, you can take the steps to deal with it. But yes, I think for a lot of us that decide to go into business, imposter syndrome is probably, one of the bigger things that we have to deal with.
Yeah. Definitely. I hear a lot about that. And I mean, I've experienced that as well. I've been going to NNBA conferences for 4 years. This is
Hmm.
my first year involved, and I just August 1st quit my PRN job. So,
Oh,
it took years and years of me being like, "Oh, well, what if there's
hmm
not enough or I'm just scared," or, so
yeah,
I definitely can resonate and I understand that, for sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
So that leads me, I used to do medical sales, like I have a marketing brain, and so I
Uh-huh.
wonder if you were afraid to market for a while, what strategies there's bugs everywhere, it's a beautiful day, but I'm like
I
surrounded
see
by
that,
bugs.
yes.
What like systems or strategies made a big difference in your growth? Like once you kind of decided to come out of your shell, um,
Yes, that was a
and
big
not
one.
not be
That was
afraid. Yeah.
hmm Well, definitely looking to see what others in my industry were doing.
Mm,
Coaching, mentorship, a lot of study, surrounding myself with great people. Case in point, my husband's really good, behind the scenes. And so, he was definitely a big help and still is to this day. Honing your craft. I remember before we even opened, I was trying to take every possible course I could. I just wanted to be an expert at what I was doing because, quite frankly, just making a decision to do something does not mean it's going to be successful or that it's even going to
mhm.
happen. And, as I said, being a little fish in a big pond, I thought, okay, one thing I could do is I can decorate my little studio with a wow factor. The minute you walk in the door, I had chandeliers hanging everywhere. I had beautiful hospitality carpet, from high-end hotels, white leather furniture. I mean, it was very opulent when you walked in. And I felt like
Yeah.
that was very important. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how beautiful your surroundings are, how good your marketing is, how good your social media looks. If your outcomes are not good at the end of the day, you're not going to make it.
Yeah,
So I
for
went to a
sure.
lot of courses, a lot of classes. I had a lot of mentors. And one day my husband says to me, how long are you going to keep going to classes before you actually open the door? I said, until I feel ready.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And that's I mean, Botox and injectables, that's a big deal. I mean, you make one mistake and someone's face is drooping. So, it is really important to be, I think you did the right thing by making
Yeah.
sure, if you already felt like I'm a nurse and I'm going up against
Hmm.
surgeons, at least you could say,
Yeah.
I'm a nurse, but look at this rap sheet of stuff that I have done to prepare for this. So I think
Right.
that, I mean, that would definitely build confidence for me as a patient going to someone, to see all of the effort and time and money you put into being the
Oh
best you
yeah.
could be.
I had certificates hanging all over the wall, to kind of
Yeah,
validate myself, so that when people walked in, they did feel comfortable. Because they've, in a cash-based industry, they can go one of many places, right?
right,
Not like you are a provider of Blue Shield or Blue Cross and you're on their list and they have to go there. So there's
right.
a lot of behind the scenes things that you need to work on to, get people to choose to come to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think that's really great. I think that's super important. So once you became the provider, essentially, like as the business owner, how did you do things differently than what you saw previously? Because you said it was very opulent when you walked in. You put
Yeah,
your everything all up
yeah, right.
on the walls, and it was so beautiful. So, what as a business owner were you like? This is how I'm going to do it differently.
Okay. That's a really good question. That cosmetic surgeon that I worked for 9 years wasn't the only job that I had. When I first got into this industry, there were a few places in town, and I was one of like two or three certified cosmetic nurses in my area. So we were in high demand for these places that opened. So I worked at just about every one of them, a few hours here, a day a week there,
Hmm.
because they were also, it was new. Botox had pretty much just come to the area at the time. And so all of these places where I worked, I could see what was good. I could see what could be improved upon. And
Hmm.
one thing that has always been very important to me is customer service. When I
Hmm.
was a little girl, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. It started way back then. He owned little mom and pop grocery stores and little liquor stores. And I used to go with him to the wholesale house and I would watch him look at the pricing of things and grab the cases and put them on the pallet. And then we would take them back to the store and I would help him unpack these things. I would put the price tags on. It was fun because he had this little thing,
Hmm.
to put the price tags on. And I learned to work the register and I used the feather duster and I was dusting all of the bottles and cans. And um, he taught me how to say hello to people when they walked in. And I really feel that the foundation of what led me, from way back then to today had a lot to do with my grandfather.
Yeah.
So that really helped me see where customer service was lacking in different places where I worked. So I took it upon myself to really beef up the customer service because, like I said, if your outcomes aren't good and the patients or the clients don't enjoy going there, if they don't feel special, I just think they're going to find somewhere else to go.
100%. I'm actually really glad you said that. I was hoping you'd say something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Just because I think that's so important. And I don't care how great, I was just talking about this. I had gotten a manicure with my mom and my niece a couple months ago, and it was like the best manicure I'd ever gotten. But I felt
Mm-hmm.
so uncomfortable in there. Like I felt like everything that we did was like they were annoyed and they,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember telling my mom, like, it really stinks because I love that place because I love the way they made my nails look, but I did not feel welcome there and I will never go back. So I do think you're
Even though the
absolutely,
outcome was good, yeah, even though the outcome was good and they gave you an amazing manicure, you don't want to go back because you did not like the customer service.
yeah, it's like you want to feel like I'm paying for this service. I want to feel
Yeah.
special. I want to feel beautiful. Some people, don't, maybe it's a mom with several young kids or something. Maybe they don't get to get Botox a lot or get their nails done a whole lot. And
Hmm.
this is like their big thing. And if,
Yeah.
it's ruined by the customer service. No, I totally agree with that. And especially after
Mhm.
COVID, customer service has really struggled. So I think that is super, super important for people
I'm
to
glad to
remember.
hear you say that because I've noticed a decline in customer service since COVID as well, which led me to work with an assistant, and we have put together a course on customer service because we've noticed
Oh,
the same thing. So I'm so glad to hear you say that. I mean, I feel like we're validating what each other think.
yeah, I think we're on the same page about that for sure.
Yeah. Hmm.
um, so So you've told us, your story, and you went from a nurse with all these different opportunities to a business owner. So I'm sure that came with a lot of responsibility, a lot more um, things to juggle. You're probably doing a lot of different roles. So at the beginning
Yep.
versus now,
Right.
how did you juggle as a new business owner? I think that scares nurses. Like, I can't do it all. So how did you juggle it then? And then how do you juggle it now?
Well, the first thing I will say is be careful what you wish for. Because we all want to see our business grow, right? But with growth, there's other hurdles that come all the time. So definitely, we've grown to a point now where I have an amazing manager. She's just amazing. We have an assistant manager. I was actually able to take one of my nurses and give her the role of head nurse. And so she
Wow.
helps me train the new hires, and we work very closely together on looking at what treatments we think we want to bring in, which ones we want to stop providing, what changes we want to make. So I would say it's extremely important to surround yourself with good people. Um, I've learned in some of the business coaching that I've taken a very important principle, and this principle is hire slowly, fire quickly. So if
Yes.
I would have known that very early on, I almost felt like, there was a time when I was desperate. I just needed a body. I needed someone to help me. It's like, oh, you want to help? Okay, come on in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we've progressed past that now, and we can be a little more choosy and take a little
Mhm.
bit more time. But there is that tendency to just grab anybody, just a body. I just
Right.
need somebody to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need help. Yeah, come in, take a little
Mhm.
off of me, but sometimes a bad employee will add more to your plate for sure. So, um,
Oh, for sure. Somebody
so
who might be good at what they do, but they're not a good fit.
yeah. So when you started, were you doing everything? Were you the medical assistant and the
Uh,
nurse and the office manager, and or did you, I know you started with a partner, but I assume
mhm.
that was more of an overseeing. Tell me more about that.
Yes. Okay, so my partner, we were friends, and he has another office where he's at full time. So, he couldn't really help me very much. He
Right.
mostly we chatted about this, and we continue to chat all the time. And our philosophy is, okay, let's look at this. If it's safe, number one, we want to do treatments and procedures that are safe, that are low risk. Okay. We could choose very risky things to do, but that's not the direction I would like to go, and I'm sure it's not the
Right.
direction he would like to go.
Right.
So is it safe? Is it profitable? You have to look at the profit margin of the thing. We've brought in certain treatments that aren't necessarily that profitable, but it brings people in. It
Yeah.
brings in another patient population that maybe, have never had medical spa services before, but they want to do something else. And so, getting people in the door gives you an opportunity to give great customer service and talk to them about other things that you offer. We have a great derm tech here, our skincare therapist, and she does amazing work. And if she can get her hands on somebody, they love it and they stay.
Yeah.
So, looking at those things, safety and profitability, duplication, making sure the training is in place. Um, and knowing, what everyone's strengths are. Like, let's say one of your providers or one of your employees, regardless of what kind of business you have, really excels in one area. Take advantage of that. And in
Yeah.
the area maybe where they struggle a little bit, give that to someone else to do. So looking for everyone's strengths, looking for everyone's weaknesses, and maximizing those things really definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And I also think, just to kind of piggyback off of that, something that I've learned a lot in my
Mhm.
experience, just as an employee or whatever, has been like a narrowed focus is really good. Like you said, if someone's really good at one thing, let them focus on that one thing. I think as a team,
Mhm.
also, like if you give too many scattered things and we have too many goals and like you give 10% to each goal when you could really focus in
Exactly.
on one thing that's super important and give 100% to it. So I
Mhm.
love that. So when you were getting ready to start and you were nervous that you couldn't stand up to the doctors in the area and this was new and you just weren't sure, like what do you wish
Mhm.
someone would have told you, or what did someone tell you that really stuck with you?
Well, um, what did somebody tell me? I'm not sure anybody really told me anything when I was nervous and getting ready to start. For me, I had to do all this self-talk. I had to do it
Hmm.
myself because, maybe someone's going to give you advice. Maybe it's good advice, maybe it's not good advice, but it was really something that I had to work through. I feel like the advice that I have received that's been really good has come over time and over the years. And some of that is another principle that I learned from a gentleman years ago that I took his workshop. He taught us about your inner and your outer circle. Okay, this was a new concept to me. So, if your people that surround you are not achieving what it is that you're trying to go for, or not pushing themselves to be better, and they're just satisfied with the status quo, um, those aren't the best people, I think, to surround yourself with when you're trying to build something. Those
Right.
people, you can still have love them, you can still have relationship with them, but they kind of need to go to the outer circle for a little while. And if you surround yourself with people who are trying to achieve something bigger, something better, maybe people who've already achieved what you're trying to do and getting advice and direction from them, those are the ones that need to be in your inner circle.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the best advice now that I'm thinking more about that question
Hmm.
is who is in your inner circle and who needs to be in your outer circle. And it could be
Yeah.
your best friend. You could have a really good best friend that just is happy with the status quo and you're trying to make something happen in your life and they're kind of dragging you back a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was very, very good advice. So I would say that learning who belongs in your inner circle and who belongs in the outer circle.
Yeah. And you definitely are who you hang with. So I agree. If you
Yeah,
are, you know,
definitely.
yeah, hanging with people that don't have any interest in doing what you're doing, that's okay. That's what makes everybody different, but you might
Yeah.
not, succeed if you don't have the people around you encouraging you. So is that the advice that you would have for someone if they came to you and said, "Karen, I really want to start a business. I'm really scared. I can't get past like this negative self-talk." Is that your advice, or do you have other advice that you would give someone?
Well, if someone is so scared and they don't feel ready, okay, I would say you're absolutely not ready. Okay. So when I speak to people about this, whether it be, on a stage or just speaking one to one, I really think it's important to listen to that inner voice that is telling you, hey, dude, you're not ready. And
Right.
then I think what you ought to do is kind of focus on, for lack of a different way to put it, blooming where you're planted. That's one of the things I talk about is try to be the best one where you already are. In the position you already are in, try to excel at it. Now's the time to take your training. Now's the time to get your coaching, take your classes while you're still in the current position that you're in. And then as you start, checking those things off your list, okay, I've learned about customer service. I've learned about how to hire good people. I found myself a good accountant. All these things that you have to get in place that if you've never owned a business before, you don't even think about these things.
Right.
So, My advice is definitely if you really feel you aren't ready, then you really are not ready. But take that time to excel where you are and then do your research and start getting your education and go towards what your goals are.
Yeah, that is great advice. And there's so many different tools you can use now, even like AI. Although it's not
Hmm.
foolproof, you could say, make me a business plan. I think I'll be ready to start in the next year or something. And it can give you just a general idea of where you need to be and what you need to do to start a business. So I've done that. That's why I say that.
I've done
So,
it too. Just
yeah.
recently, not in the recent past, I started using AI and I thought, okay, let's see what this AI thing is all about. And once you start working with it, then it kind of gets to know you, you get to know
Mhm.
it, how to talk to it. And I definitely have asked, show me this, give me an outline for that. How could I
Right.
improve on this? Case in point, we just started a new therapy here at the office. It is snoring reduction therapy. We have a laser that will actually reduce snoring, which makes
Wow.
everybody in the house happier. And
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes. And even with the first treatment, there's a significant improvement. We have one of our patients that was a model for the training. She texted us the next day and said, I have an app on my phone that's a sleep apnea app. And she said, after that one treatment, I did not have any sleep apnea at all
Oh,
last night. And she
wow.
said, when can I come back for the next treatment? So I thought, well, this is amazing. It works. So I went to my AI and I said, hey, show me how to generate interest, in the
Yeah.
snoring therapy. Yeah. So I got
Yeah.
some ideas for that too. And we're going to
I
be going
love
that
it.
direction as well.
I know. I think that's such a great tool to use. And I don't like it when people are negative about AI because I'm like, if you use it responsibly, you are are saving yourself so much time. Sure, if you use it to respond to everything that you say or do, then you might become reliant. But otherwise, it can be so helpful. So
And
I
I'm
really do
learning
love
that
that.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was raised with so much like technology around that to me AI is just
Yeah.
like, well, of course that was the next step. And some people I understand are very um, not sure about it, so that's okay. But I would definitely recommend people use it, especially if you think you have a business idea but it's just a little
Hmm.
wobbly, just to say like, this is what I'm thinking about, how can I really make it specific, and who would be my ideal audience and why, that kind of stuff is super helpful.
I agree.
So, okay, well, I asked, I feel like I got a really great understanding of you and your business journey.
Hmm.
And I think this is going to be super beneficial. And we overcame the tech issues, which, yay, us. Love that.
Yes.
But before we wrap up, tell me a little bit about, or tell us a little bit more about what you're working on. Where can people connect with you? Yeah, give us a little more info.
Okay. Well, we're moving and shaking. We're growing like crazy. We've got new things coming. We just added a CO2 laser, so we're looking forward to in the fall starting CO2 laser resurfacing. And we have about 30 people on the wait list right now, so that's
Wow.
exciting. And we have the snoring therapy, but I do I do have an email that if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask me, or if they're interested in talking to me about the customer service module that I've put together, they can email me at beautynursekaren@gmail.com, and I spell my name Karen. There's several ways to spell that name, so beautynursekaren@gmail.com.
All righty. Well, that's so amazing. Thank you so much for starting off our series. I appreciate you so much for being willing and being excited and for being a member of the
Yeah.
NNBA. So, I will plug your LinkedIn and I'll put your email whenever I post this. But any last words for anybody?
Well, let's see. Yes, it all starts with a dream, right? And then you have to work a plan. I mean, I've learned a lot of things along the way. When we first opened this business, I'd had three beauty salons in the past, but that is a completely different animal. Okay. So it all starts with a dream, and then you have to turn that dream into a vision, a qualified plan. Keep looking at your plan. Surround yourself with good mentors, get some coaching, do a lot of reading. Take people who are negative and who aren't supportive and put them in your outer circle. Build your inner
Yeah.
circle with people who are in your corner and people that you can really learn from. And take it slow. And if you aren't ready, you're not ready.
Yeah. I think that's really great advice, and I think that's really gonna help a lot of people, especially people that are interested in the med spa area because, we have a lot of people that are very interested in that, and it's a very booming field for sure, so well, thank
Definitely.
you so much for being on here. I appreciate you so much. If you're watching and you're not a member of the NNBA, please join. We would love to have you. We're gonna start
Mhm.
bringing on some more amazing successful nurses that have started their own businesses and have so much value to share with you. But otherwise, I hope everyone has a lovely day and we will talk soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Karen. Bye.